Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, the battle and the Ferengi have returned, and also
There was no actual battle.
Apparently, Picard had some really deeply hidden PTSD, I guess.
I guess, maybe, I don't know. I guess it's up for debate, if we're honest.
But today we are watching an episode called Hide and Q. Q is in just the letter Q. I'm guessing Q is returning. Q from Encounter at Farpoint. So it was a character that I knew at the very least. John Delancey was in sort of like a recurring character in the Next Generation before we got into this. But I guess I'm assuming this is returning. I'm assuming I'm right about this.
Can you imagine if you're wrong? This will be like your pronunciation of words for titles and stuff.
Luck. I've had enough of you. And I've had enough of this intro. We're going to get to post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We're about to watch Hide and Q. Hide and Q, otherwise known as let's turn Riker into Jesus, I guess. And have Jesus forsake his power. I came up with that analogy before I saw the end of the episode, and now it's not as accurate. It's not as accurate.
However, it's a good episode.
It's actually really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Might be my favorite of TNG so far. Maybe, possibly. I feel like I definitely got to know. I felt like I had a better handle on Q as a character in this one as compared to Encounter at Farpoint. And you know, and this time, like last time at least, Q was an underwritten mess of a character, but at least John Delancey was fun. Here, John Delancey was still fun, even more fun, I would argue. I got to know his character better in this.
I think he's more fun because they wrote him to be more fun.
Mm-hmm. And also, I swear, everything he appears in is just going to be how many costumes can we throw John Delancey in and have him ham it up the whole time? Because it's great. It's really, really fun. He's great, of course. John Delancey's awesome. But also, great episode for Riker. Because while Riker, I think up to this point in the show, has always been sort of to me, I could be off the mark on this. We're only 10 episodes in, but to me at least, has felt like the moral compass, sort of, or at least the most human member of this particular crew.
If I recall correctly, that was sort of his stated goal in the first episode. It's a two-parter. He literally says, "I will keep you in check."
Yeah, that's sort of but what they establish is the dynamic between Picard and Riker is that Picard has kind of become, I would say, disillusioned with the people that he finds himself around, and Riker is there to sort of be that guy that kind of reins him back in and says look around you, look what you're doing. And so here we take Riker's humanity, lure it in with Q's power, and kind of have to snap Riker back into reality, which is really, really cool. I really enjoyed seeing that.
It helps for this episode, obviously, that we put him in situations where his godlike ability would be considered by pretty much everyone else a good thing. There is a dead child he has the chance to save, and he does not, because that is the question of how far can my power go before I can give it up.
Yeah. Also, small thing I wanted to point out in my notes here, that actually I called it to you right at the start of the episode. I was like, what's so great about this show compared to TOS is that the whole crew is all always here pretty much. TOS you just have random characters popping in and out, and of course this is the one episode so far where we were missing a crew member entirely. However, they do explain it away because Troy's at least mentioned. Troy's on vacation visiting family, I guess. So hey, good for her, I guess. That's nice. Also on Klingons, let's talk about Klingons. Speaking of things I want to get to know more about in this show, and I guess Star Trek as a whole, I feel and the movies did this as well, but TNG especially, and through Worf as a character, I feel I've gotten to know Klingons a lot better than I did back in TOS. I feel TOS, they didn't tell us more than oh yeah, this is just a warlike people, this is their whole thing. But no, I'm getting to know a bit more about them. I really love that little moment where Riker and Q were having was it lemonade together, and Worf is given that drink as well, and he breaks it, and Q knows, I wrote down my notes here, the old Klingon saying, drink not with thine enemy. It's a cool thing. It's just a really nice little moment there that I don't know, I like seeing that. I like seeing that in his character. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, speaking of also just great little moments in this episode. Yar is penalized penalized, I think is how you would say that. Anyway, she's put in a penalty box in Q's game, and that is that she's sent back to the Enterprise temporarily. And her and Picard actually share this great little moment. Although now that I look at my note here, why was Yar crying? I'm starting to forget.
because the writers hate her, and
the writers really hate Yar. What the fuck?
And
man?
She just keeps being like manhandled like in every episode.
Yeah, and
I think as a character, she has come to the same conclusion that like she's just been manipulated, controlled, like very consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really upset her, at least in this instance, that she's like, I just hate feeling so controlled. I think what she said.
Yeah, and so it creates this great little moment then where you know she's like holding back these tears because she's on the bridge and Picard is like, you know, it's just this is, you know, the penalty box. Tears are permitted, and I really like that. I thought that was great. Let's see what else. There were some creepy pig soldiers. I don't know what they were all about. Also on Q as a like multifaceted cosmic entity. They are kind of limited by like just being on a Earth human American TV show in the 80s that were like any sort of like larger references he's making, and like he is reading from like the works of Shakespeare at the moment that he's quoting Shakespeare, but also like he doesn't really go much beyond the scope of humans. And even if they just started like making up some more like random like out there like alien things for Q to reference as a character, I think that would like make it a little bit more believable. But like, you know, and you could say like, oh, it's because he's around humans constantly, but it's like, no, there's also like Worf there and Data's there. You know, those aren't really humans technically, or at least not in Data's case, I should say technically. So like, you know, you could go a little bit more out there, and also we're in space. Come on, you can get a little bit weirder with your references. But then also I gotta talk about the end of the episode that I really loved. I think just really sold this one for me. Riker starts using his power to convince his fellow crewmates of all the good it can do, and he makes Wesley an adult, and he cures Geordi's blindness, and he gives Worf a partner, I guess.
He just
which
makes
also
a woman up here.
Yeah, which is some stupid TOS shit right there. But also I want to note that I had subtitles on my end when I was watching it, and the subtitles for that moment on Paramount Plus said "seductive growl" when it was him and the Klingon woman. Just
I kind of love that.
Funny ass moment. But I really do love this, where it's just like, you know, they're given this power, given these things by Riker, and like they all kind of just individually deny his Riker's gifts. You know, I loved Wesley's moment of just like, I want to get here on my own, and Geordi's moment especially stuck out to me, and especially to you, because we were both sort of wary of this back in The Naked Now, when they were doing that whole thing about like, oh, Geordi's blindness, you know, he wants to get rid of it. He wants to be cured, and Riker gives that to him. And Geordi denies that gift as well, and I was so worried they were going to go down that same route that The Naked Now did, but here we are now. It's not that much longer later. Probably just a change in writer, you know, having a bit of a better handle on that. But no, Geordi denies it, and it's a genuinely great moment.
Data, before he even can get a gift, he's like, no, I don't even want your gift.
Yeah.
He's just like, I know what you're going to give me. I could probably even guess what it is, and I'd be right.
Yeah, and and he doesn't take it. It's so good. And so Riker then, you know, finally sees that he forsakes that power, and John Delancey as Q in his great cult burlap robe thing screams and disappears, and it's a great big funny moment. No, I shouldn't say funny moment, but like funny in how melodramatic it is, I should say. Very interesting, very cool. I really love this episode. I thought this was really cool. I shouldn't say love. You know, it's still early TNG. It's still very much finding its feet. I think some of the creepy pig soldier moments just kind of lost me. But still, really
that was also a sequence that took place on a TOS set.
Yeah, it looked very TOS. Yeah, just sand and rock everywhere with a different colored sky. It's a TOS set, yeah. So That was Hyde and Q. So I guess we're nearing the halfway point of the season. We're getting there. We're coming up on that in the next few episodes. Be curious to see where we go from here. So yeah, be sure to join us next time when we continue Star Trek: The Next Generation. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan.
Jacob.
Goodbye.